Have you ever heard of a wheel bug?
Well, here you are.
Sick.
This is the grossest bug we've seen thus far in Texas.
They mate or something? I'm trying to remember. They mate and then they cut each other's head off.
Of course they do.
What's going on YouTube? We actually have a nice, boring day today, which is a good change of pace. No events, nothing crazy. So a lot of rotating dogs, getting the dogs out, doing dog intros, play groups, training, and we're gonna go on a field trip with a few of the pups today. I know a lot of you guys have reactive, selective dogs, and I know that can feel really, really lonely because it's not something that's talked about a lot on social media. Like, it's not dogs with muzzles on, reactive dogs that you're seeing on social media going out into the real world doing stuff. But I promise you they are out there, and there are things you can go do with your reactive selective dog. So today that's something we're gonna try and focus on. So Maribel.
She was adopted from DAS as a puppy, and then one of our fosters sent us a message saying that she'd been trying to catch this stray dog for months and couldn't gain her trust because she's so shy and skittish. And finally, after it was like 3 or 4 months, she set out a trap and caught her, brought her to the Dallas Animal Services, and that's when they found out that she had an old microchip, that she was adopted from the shelter. They reached out to the previous owners, and no one responded.
Yeah, in case you guys were wondering, owners don't get in trouble for that in today's world. Makes sense, right? Yeah.
But she did come back and she was heartworm positive, so she went through heartworm treatment, and she was having reoccurring UTIs for some reason. And her foster mommy, who's amazing, unfortunately got a second job with really long hours. So it wasn't going to be, the best situation for Maribel, especially if she's having reoccurring UTIs.
So Moose, I don't know if we introed Moose either. I mean, he's come a long way. He was actually being sold at a swap meet. Family or guy picked him up there, brought him home to his pregnant wife with twins.
Yeah, he was being sold at a swap meet with his sister. So it was 2 Wimes in a small crate at a swap meet.
Yeah, so he felt bad, and then he got home and reality set in, and realized they couldn't keep the dog. Which, I mean, good that they got him out of that situation. We try and tell people all the time, though, and that's why we don't pull dogs right from the shelter and send them into homes, one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But because it's really easy to get emotionally invested in a dog when it's something sad like that, and then reality sets in, and it's like, oh, I can't take care of this dog.
Yeah.
So that was kind of that situation. So one of the Weimaraner rescues out here took his sister. She's doing really good. Moose has definitely come a long way with us. You guys will see some of his original videos. And yeah, I will say the place we picked him up, at least in our brief interaction, the wife wasn't treating them great.
Yeah.
They were terrified, stuffed in a crate in the garage. But he's doing good. Maribel's doing really good.
They're both available for adoption.
Yeah.
They both need specific homes, though. Maribel, just a home that understands that she's a shyer dog and is going to take a little bit just to warm up to you. Moose is just really, really hyper. He's going to need an owner that is really active and is going to be patient because he has not necessarily stranger danger because he loves people, but he thinks the world is a scary place. So he needs someone that's going to give him that exposure that he needs.
He's a Weimaraner.
He's basically
a puppy. If you've had a Weimaraner,
then you get it.
Then you understand. Like, it's just the breed itself, they're just wusses. They're just massive wusses.
Don't listen.
They are. They're such scaredy cats.
They're little nervous Nellies. But the fact that he was never exposed to anything as a puppy
does not help.
Chips.
No.
Chips wants to come to Home Depot. He needs exposure.
Where do you not take your dog?
The dog park?
Yes. That one drives me nuts. I see so many people, and I'm sorry if you're this person. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes, but I see a lot of people that are like, oh, I have this really aggressive or selective or reactive dog or this scared dog right out of the shelter. I'm going to go to the dog park and we're going to start working on these things. That's the worst thing you could do. Well, you have a lot of owners that are on their phones and not paying attention.
Right.
They're there to socialize themselves, some, not all. But also, you could have like 10, 12 different dogs in there and you don't know their personalities. You can't control those variables. Right. So, if you live in a city or you have a really reactive dog, it would be going out at slow times where there's not a lot of people out and start working on those things in very short increments, like 5-10 minute walks, and then expand it a little bit. But starting small where you're fairly certain what the variables will be so you could set your dog up for success.
Right. The dog park's definitely not for everyone, and not for every dog at every stage of its life.
No.
So, going on field trips like this where you do have a somewhat controlled environment is the best thing that you can do for socializing your animal.
Shadow's been pretty solid with other dogs.
Yeah, he's fine with other dogs.
Yeah, he's been fine. He just has a little bit of stranger danger. I mean, I think Shadow was treated like.
Yeah.
You're gonna bleep all this, right? A little duck sound. Treated like shit. We haven't fun yet.
Oh no.
Shadow just has some stranger danger. So I mean, like fairly controlled environments,
Yeah.
but you know, he's a dog that usually comes with us anyway when we go out or we go to the vet, just because we're trying to pack in as much as we can. So he's having good interactions. But that really is such a big part of it. I know a lot of people with reactive dogs. You're trying to rush the process a little bit because you want your dog to like other dogs. It's okay if your dog doesn't learn to like other dogs.
Right.
It's just building on good experiences and learning what their triggers are. Once you learn what those triggers are, once you identify them, there's things from a training perspective that we'll show you guys that you can implement to start to work through that. And that really should be the end game goal because that's going to elevate your dog's quality of life.
Yep.
Also,
well, what?
It's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah.
It's okay if your dog doesn't like other dogs. I don't like all people. It's okay.
That's true. So Miss Nova Gray has a family coming in 2-3 weeks. They're flying in with their entire family. Wife, 2 daughters, 1? 2 daughters, 2 dogs. To do a meet and greet with Nova. They're going to be here for 2 or 3 days to get to know Nova, have some one-on-one time with her, do a proper intro with their smaller dogs. And if all goes well, they are renting a car and driving back to South Carolina.
Yeah.
I always mess that up. I always want to say North Carolina, but to South Carolina. But typically when it's an out-of-state adoption, we do require adopters to come to Texas with their resident dogs. If they have kids, with their kids. I know it's a big ask, but we've seen dogs being shipped off out of state and end up in terrible situations. We have put a lot of time and love and effort into all of our animals, and we want to make sure they end up in the right home. So we understand that flying to Texas is not for everyone, but if you want to adopt a dog from us and you're out of state, that's what we do require. Along with a home check and references, and all the other normal things that come along with adopting a dog. So we're excited to see how she does, and hopefully this is her forever home. But Nova she's a typical wiggly pitty, but she has a little bit of stranger danger, and rightfully so. She was set on fire. So, occasionally when she meets someone, she might do a few barks, and if you have a treat, then you're her best friend. So she just, is going to require someone that understands that she might not like every single person that she meets. And, you have to take it slow with her. That's all. But she's a really, really sweet dog. But it took us a whole year and a half to basically heal her skin. And she's finally ready to find her forever home. So I'm going to be really sad to see her go. But it opens up, a spot for another kiddo that really needs it. So she's ready to fly the coop. Hi guys, this is Guac, because she's extra AF. Yeah. It's so funny when you're holding her, she's super calm. But if I were to put her down, she would scale the wall. She is super athletic. The first night that we had her here, we had her in like a 4-foot little playpen, and came out the next morning to her not in the playpen, and she was in a like huge Tupperware box where we had like old t-shirts that we were going to donate. And she's just cuddled up in there. And then Duke put her in the kitchen with a baby gate, and she climbed the baby gate, jumped onto our trash can and onto our kitchen counter. And she was just like, hanging out on the kitchen counter when he came around the corner. But Miss Guac here was initially adopted from the Dallas Animal Shelter back in January. And she was just dropped off last week and aged at 15 years old, which I don't think is correct. I think she's more like 9 or 10 years old. She is gray in the face, but the way she moves, she's so agile. She doesn't move like a 15-year-old. But she was dropped off as an owner surrender, and they didn't give any notes. So we have no idea why she was dropped off. But we took her to our vet to run our, initial workup. She basically has a clean bill of health. Her heart is a little enlarged, and she has a I think they said grade 2 heart murmur. So nothing to really be worried about. We're just going to be watching out for a cough or nasal discharge here in the next few weeks to see if anything's progressed. But she's in really, really good health. So that is little baby guac. So we are off to a field trip with Shadow. We're going to start with Shadow. And Shadow, as sweet as he looks on the interweb, he has stranger danger. Now, he's not the type of dog that is going to lunge and attack someone or bark at someone. He kind of just keeps to himself. But he's actually going to be a really good dog to showcase as the first dog for the series because he's so cute and fluffy. People want to come over and touch him. And Shadow is scared of meeting new people. He wasn't treated the best his first, however many years of life he has. I think he's like 7. But he was probably abused and for sure neglected. So when he meets a new person, he is very shy. He wants to take his time. He wants to go over and sniff you. If you were to reach over and try to pet Shadow, he's gonna give you a low growl, show teeth, and he might do an air snap. He's not a dog that you can just go up to the first time that you meet him and, oh my God, you're so cute and fluffy. You need to take your time with Shadow. So we wanna take him out to Home Depot and we're gonna go to Starbucks to go grab a coffee. And this is a great time to also educate people not to just approach dogs and love on them the first time that you meet them. Shadow's actually pretty good on leash.
Yeah, well, he likes sticking close to mama.
Yeah, he doesn't try to stray away. He's one of the very few dogs in our rescue that we've ever had off leash, like in the front of the property. That's not a super senior.
Well, I think that's in part the Pyrenees in him. Like very much a pure thing.
Yeah. No. Sorry.
It's okay.
He has stranger danger. He was like severely abused and neglected. So we're just trying to show him that the world is not a scary place. But thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
So the goal today for Shadow is just getting him out, for him to see people. I'm not gonna let anyone touch him because I'm trying to keep him safe. So he needs to know that there's gonna be people out in public and people aren't gonna try to come over and touch him and make him feel unsafe. So it's just being out. It has nothing to do with socializing with people per se, or socializing with dogs. It's just being out and sniffing things and not being overwhelmed. And this is a good place, in my opinion, not to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I was gonna say Home Depot. It's actually a really good place for kind of this intro phase because you have a lot of room. Typically, dog people in here.
Yeah, the aisles are big.
Yeah, but it's about controlling variables, right? Like minimizing variables. And Home Depot, while it's still a public place, it is a fairly controlled environment, which is always a big plus.
You know what I thought about doing for Bark in the Park in August?
What's that?
Linking up with a turf company to offer a relief area for the dogs.
For Bark in the Park?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like that could be our thing. Our section is just come potty.
Right.
Come potty with us.
Could also.
I mean, come potty with us? Marketing at its finest. Perfect. Mission accomplished. Only one person asked to touch him and I said no. But no one else tried to get in his space. He had a positive interaction or a positive experience at Home Depot. And this is what we want. We want a lot of positive interactions so that
a lot of little wins.
Yeah, small wins will equal to him, possibly trusting that people aren't so bad.
Well, and also just like dogs, learning to respect space, it's important for him to learn that humans can respect his space.
Right.
And he could be around people that just coexist.
Yeah, where he doesn't have to feel like he needs to correct everyone all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, the next progression would be just having controlled interactions, probably at the property where we have Amanda or even Dustin behind the camera. Hang out outside and just share space, hand him treats, and just not force anything so he could take time to get comfortable.
Shadows?
Shadow, where's Mama got?
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
What's she
boy.
got? Yeah.
For being such a good boy.
He loves pup cups.
Everybody loves pup cups.
That's the reality of our days. Our mornings are super, super hectic. I don't know if we'd ever want to put Dustin through what our mornings look like, but the majority of our day is, like we've said before, is rotating and making sure the dogs get exercise and gets, field trips and get socialized and vet appointments and get them ready to leave the nest so we can go save more lives. I think next week we'll probably start to get the kennels ready for summertime.
Yeah.
We're gonna get new mesh tops that I've already ordered, getting mini pools for all of the kennels. Some of them need new cots. And I bought, what are those things called? The misters.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have misters to install and get Piggy's little area set up too. But we're gonna wrap up today because we gotta head back home and get dinner going for the babies. But thank you guys for tuning in and watching our crazy, crazy life. Don't forget to
like, comment, subscribe.
What else? Share and ring the bell.
There you go. See you guys next time.
Go get your dog a pup cup, all right?